intro episode?
Oh, is that okay? You ready?
Oh, yeah. I'm just getting comfortable now.
All right. I don't remember how to make a podcast. Hello.
It hasn't been that long.
It has. It's been 8 years.
8 years, really? Really?
It's been 8 years. Every month is 2 years now. You know this.
You're counting quarantine time? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay.
We are in quarantine time. If you're listening to this and you noticed I sound a little bit garbagey, that's because Aaron and I are not in the same room.
Yeah. Actually, the first episode where we're not in the same room for this.
We're many miles apart. We are social distancing for this episode of this very special episode of Dust Watch.
Very special is a very apt word for this episode.
I'm really bummed that I don't get to see your facial reactions while we watch this.
Well, you spoiled a little for me years back, according to you.
Yes.
About there not being enough Boreal in this. So I'm already I think
bummed. I said, oh, yeah, no. I was going to say, I don't remember him. And then I know I don't remember him because he's not in this.
At all?
I don't think he's in it at all. I think they completely cut him out.
Why are we doing this? Thank you for watching, everybody, or listening.
We already had this discussion 8 years ago.
No, I don't remember this. I thought you said just there was not a lot of him in this.
Maybe he's in it. I'm pretty sure. I don't fucking know. It's to be fair, I have only seen this movie once. When it came out in 2007. Should we tell people what we're doing? They have no idea what we're talking about.
I mean, you're hosting this thing, so let's go.
So we promised you guys 8 years ago when you heard the last episode of this that the last episode was not, in fact, the last episode, and we would be back with more because I'm going to make Aaron watch the movie.
And
I'm just excited to see what you think. I just want to know. I just want to know what you think. It's a great time. It's a great family adventure, as the cover states.
Which is very different from what the TV series kind of portrays.
It's very different from what the book portrays.
Yeah, still haven't read the book. But I think at the time, because what year did this come out with? Was this Harry Potter time? Was this Harry Potter?
Yes, Harry Potter we were up to Goblet of Fire, maybe.
So we're 3 books in, or 4 movies in. And people want that money. People want that Harry Potter, cash. Just like when Twilight came out and you had a whole bunch of preteen, drama movies trying to do. So you got your Aragorn. You got your
what?
Is it Aragon? Is it Aragorn?
Yes, Aragon.
The dragon tamer or whatever.
Yeah, Aragon.
Yes.
Which don't get me fucking started on Aragon as one of the worst You know what? Whatever.
I've never seen that one. We'll do a TV series version of that one.
I don't need to get into this. Don't trigger me like this.
So I think the reason why they try to market it that way is because if the little kids are going out to watch the Harry Potters, then we need to make some money off of this book. And what? It sold with kids, right? It was a big selling book.
Yes, it is. It is a widely selling book.
So then why not try to hit that market up in the movies?
What I didn't remember, and I didn't watch the whole trailer because I wanted to kind of remember the movie as it was or for the first time. But I opened up the trailer and it literally starts with a floating ring and it says, in 2001, New Line Cinema took you on a journey to Middle Earth.
Woo, really?
Now,
really?
Yeah, and they're like, now we have another epic adventure for you. They were 100% trying to play this off of the success of Lord of the Rings. They really thought this was the next Lord of the Rings.
You had me thinking that this was taking place in Middle Earth.
Wow, no.
That's what I was thinking.
That would have been hilarious, but no.
That sucks. Well, I mean, that's a little less
They were trying to piggyback off the success of Lord of the Rings and be like, this is the next big thing. This is the next big epic adventure.
But wait, when did Lord of the Rings come out? Lord of the Rings came out before
2001.
That's 7 years?
Yeah.
How are you piggybacking off of something almost a decade later?
Well, Return of the King came out in 2003, so it would have been 4 years later. And that was prior to this, that was New Line Cinema's big, giant epic.
That sounds...
And they were like, this is the next Lord of the Rings.
That sounds like that's a dumb marketing person.
Clearly it didn't work.
Yes, it did not. It was...
So basically what we're doing here today is we're introducing you clearly to this episode. We are going to watch the movie and then we will return in 2 hours, although for you it'll be about 2 seconds.
Yep.
We should just put 2 hours of silence.
Okay, good way to pad the time. Yes.
But we'll be back in approximately 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 15 seconds.
Oh, it really is that long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just under 2 hours.
Okay, all right.
To let you guys know how this is gonna go. So you already, I feel a little bit bad because I've been ragging on it forever. So you already know it's garbage.
Well, see, here's the thing: we have two different opinions, Emma. So what your garbage may be, it might be my, my trophy. I might love it. I might feel like
that's very true. You do like garbage.
First of all, I don't like garbage. I like high quality movies.
You like garbage,
and this might be good. I mean, I think you have a different perspective because you've read the book and you were in love with the book as a child and all that type of stuff. So you favor these characters and you want to see the best for these characters. I am going into it and making sure, like, hey, story's on point, the acting's on point. The CG might be a little rough. I'll give it some leeway because it's dated, but I'm just saying I'm looking for a solid film. That's what I'm going in.
I mean, it's got a great cast.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig, Freddie Highmore, Ian McKellen.
Oh no, what's his name?
Sam Elliott.
There you go, right there.
Christopher Lee.
I saw that on there, so I'm like,
Ian McShane. Like this is a really fucking good cast. This movie had no right being as bad as it is.
Okay. I mean, we will definitely see for those big hitters that you're saying. I don't know. How do you fail? And I want to know where you believe they failed. Do you believe they failed the book, or do they fail the acting, or like?
Well, I'll let you. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the questions I'm going to have after the fact here.
All right. So I guess you ready to start?
Yeah, I guess we.
I guess then we'll be right back for you guys, and that's the fancy transition that you have to put in.
That's a time flashback
that's
sound.
Time jump.
That's
it's going to be in 2 hours.
That's
all right, we'll be right back, you guys. You should set that as my sound when I come into your stream.
What? That?
So just set that as my sound. Just Lyra.
That's terrible.
What's I doing? Oh, I was turning on my air conditioning.
I do want individual sounds for people, though. That's the next thing.
You gotta turn those down too. They're hella loud.
Yeah, no, West Nile told me that too. I'm like, they're loud in my ear as well, but I went to each individual sound in the thing and turned it down. It just didn't. I don't know.
You just gotta do it more.
I am going to.
All right.
Do that on the new computer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a new computer, so yes.
Did you get your stimulus check?
Yeah, I've been had that.
Use it for your new computer.
Yeah, no, I just got to look now.
Build one.
I don't want to build one.
They're fun.
Yeah,
and it's like way customizable. And then you won't have to upgrade your whole computer when something goes wrong. You just upgrade the part.
I don't.
It's cheaper.
We'll see. I'll see how it is back and forth.
Oh, I guess I can turn off the stream. All right, you ready?
Yeah, I've been recording.
Oh, cool.
Since your second, Lyra.
It's going to be stuck in my head all fucking week, I swear. It's my new follow alert.
Oh, where's my phone?
Okay. All right. We just going to...
Yeah, I'm already ready. I just took it out of my phone.
All right. All right. And just like that, 2 hours have passed.
And I am left with one question.
Oh, God.
Where's Will?
In the next fucking book where he belongs.
Just saying.
Okay?
He should have been there from the beginning.
In the next book. And you did get your boy Boreal.
No,
yeah,
I did not.
Yeah,
no,
he was
not
there.
No. Don't give me a quick pan to a person holding a snake and be like, "Oh, there's Boreal." No, that wasn't him.
There's Boreal.
That could have been anybody.
There he was.
No, that wasn't him. I refuse to believe that was him. Actually, where's the IMDb? Go ahead, go into your thing, and because I want to see if that actually was what they.
It was.
Consider. No, that wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
But all right, immediate thoughts.
Immediate thoughts are it started off strong in my opinion. So
all right,
with the introduction of Lyra and her telling tall tales and her playing with Egyptian kids, Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it established her character to me really well. Like from the scene when they were on the roof and she was talking about how she helps Azrael hunt gobblers, like
Mm-hmm.
those lies, and that set up a personality that I feel the TV show did not.
I'll agree with that.
So when I was looking, or when I was getting all that in the beginning, I was kind of like, where's the bad movie so far?
Right? I think I said it at one point. I was like, the movie really shits the bed in the second half. Like the first half is all right. It starts off good. I had forgotten how much they characterized Lyra in this, and I liked that.
Yeah,
And then it just goes so bad so fast.
yeah, and I don't know if it's this whole thing of, since we're doing a movie, we have to, stuff as much as we can into this type of thing or whatever. But I don't know, why would you feel that way when you started off so strong? So in that respect, it was fine, I think, in the beginning. In the first, I'll say 10 minutes, maybe. First 10, 15, maybe. It was strong.
Yeah.
The narration in the very beginning, when they're telling you the whole story,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that was a lot that they probably should have kept, back. Because they tell you about the different dimensions or the different worlds.
Yep.
They tell you. I liked how they explained the demons, though, because they didn't do that in the show, really. And how, like, you are, connected to yours and everything like that, and even how it hurts if your demon gets hurt or whatever. So like some of that exposition was good, but I just felt it was too much. If they had taken away
so much. Yeah, they start with the multiverse. They
Yeah.
talk about dust. They tell you about the alethiometer, and I had forgotten that they really play into this like chosen one bullshit in the movie, because they say there's only one alethiometer left and only one person who can read it, and that's not
Yeah.
fucking true at all.
But see, I think that's another thing of they're trying to give you that Harry Potter thing.
They're trying to give you Harry Potter.
They're like,
The
you got to be
music sounded
special.
like Harry Potter.
The-
Alexander.
I wrote that. The font in the beginning. I was like, that is so Harry Potter-ish. Like
Yeah.
that just looks like they're, so you could tell who this was geared towards. They were trying to get
Yes.
you, Emma, into the theater and
Oh,
sit
clearly.
down.
I mean, I was the right age for it. I just didn't want a garbage movie.
Well, I mean, you get kind of, I think
They never. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you were probably too young to do what you do now with stuff. Looking at like directors and like
Yeah.
background and like seeing articles online like, oh, this person got cast to play blah 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 or whatever. I don't know if you did that as a child. If you did, you're a weirdo.
It was also 2007, so like there wasn't a whole lot of that around when you're 12.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's not what you're into. So I don't know. Maybe it would have been written in for you, and you would have probably still been excited because of the huge cast that they have.
Well, I
in
was
this.
excited because I liked the book.
But no. But I'm saying like as opposed to now, where you could look at something and you'd be like, I'm not that
see.
excited because they put this person as that. But like the cast is even still strong,
Yeah.
as little as they use of certain people.
It's
But
ridiculously good cast. Oh my God. Daniel Craig, Nicole Kidman, fucking Ian McKellen. Just goddamn. Sam
So-
Elliott, Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates, really?
Kathy Bates that we didn't
Really?
know until the end.
Exactly.
And she's in it. This movie had no business being as bad as it was.
It just felt, overall to me, it just felt rushed. It just felt like they were, especially after watching his Dark Materials and seeing it week in and week out, how they got to stretch out all these like plot lines.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels like they really definitely crammed it into, the little 2 hours that they had.
In
Well-
this movie, you can completely take out Yorick Burnison and the fact that the armored bears even exist, and you would lose nothing.
Yes, that's
There's
100% true.
absolutely no story with the bears. He is just there to look cool.
It feels like it was padding time as well. Like you said, if you took them out, then it's done. I feel like, you know what? Maybe because of the ending, maybe they were just trying to avoid actually that ending. That like the proper ending to the
Yes.
the story or whatever, to this book.
Yeah, so I think I told you in the last episode when Roger died, and I'd been saying that like the movie was trash, and I was like, now that you've seen this, I can tell you the movie's trash because Roger doesn't die. And so you already knew that Roger didn't die, and still when the credits rolled, you went, that's it?
Well, yeah, because I expected a full change. I expected him walking through to another dimension with her.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you said he didn't die. That's what I was like, okay, he's walking in with her. Like, they just kept his character alive and didn't really go down the evil part of, Azrael.
They don't even see Azrael.
That's true. Azrael is
she never sees him after he leaves Jordan College.
Yeah, he's just gone. And he's just exposition after that. Like, I think what's her name?
And a fight scene that, for some reason, that we didn't need from him.
Yeah, that was kind of odd and out of nowhere as well. But because in the show he doesn't do that, right? Like, there's no fight scene.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
But he's captured by the bears for a little while.
Yes.
And they didn't do any of that.
They didn't do any of that.
Also, what they didn't do, going back to the beginning, he's way nicer than any other depiction of him in either the book or his Dark Materials.
Again, they're trying to make this like a family thing, so they're like, "Oh, nice dad, nice dad Azrael."
Yeah, and they don't explain, because eventually when she finds out that that's her,
much later,
they don't explain like his reasoning behind things or anything like that. Like like he was like, because he's always like, this is just my niece or whatever, or he was like, my niece shouldn't behave this way or whatever. That was a weird. I don't know. They definitely softened his.
They hold on to her parentage for almost the entire movie. She doesn't find out until the end, and it's Mrs. Coulter who tells her, and you never hear her acknowledge the fact that Azrael's her father after that.
Was it Mrs. Coulter in the show too?
No, it was Ma Costa.
Really?
Remember, because she storms off and has that whole thing.
Miss Coulter said that it was her. What's her name? Was his dad? That's who.
Mm-hmm.
That's who. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So Mrs. Coulter tells her Azrael's her father, and Ma Costa tells her that Coulter is her mother. And in the book, I believe it's Lord Fa.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember.
We talked about that.
I do like going back to the beginning. Like I said, the first 10 minutes of the movie is.
I know I could hear you were so confused. You were like, "This is good."
It wasn't, because it set up everything. Like I was like, "This is great." Like so far. So the first 10 minutes to go back again, Magisterium is at that meeting that Azrael is at. And he wasn't in there from
absolutely not. The Magisterium was not on Jordan College. And I don't know why they did that, why they wouldn't have the master poison Azrael, unless they just want to avoid confusing children. They're like, we can't have complex relationships.
Well, because
kids wouldn't understand.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because I didn't quite understand why somebody that's trusted so much, like if I'm leaving my child with these people, I obviously trust them, would eventually one day come back around and see it fit to have me dead rather than to have me do whatever I was trying to do. Like that didn't make any sense. So in a sense, in the movie, I saw it. I was like, this is fitting that you set this organization, the Magisterium, up as the bad guy. You show them the bad deeds that they are willing to do for their own goals. Poison a man, kill a person. And then you show the animosity between those people as well. And they did that in the meeting as well. So I was like, cool. They set these people up. I know who the bad guy is automatically. That's who I do. That's what I know. In the TV show, it just seemed like these once friends, quote unquote, are like, well, we're going to, kill you. We'd rather have you dead. But then later on in the series, we're still going to protect Lyra. Like, I don't like their role.
It's a complex situation.
But the complexity of their situation is never understood by the audience, I feel.
You feel like by the end of the show, or by the end of the first season, you still don't really understand why the master was trying to poison him?
No. Because at the end, I mean, he got his whole school ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because of, I mean, and then even when they took the vote, they all voted to support Azrael. So like, I don't understand. Like, what was your goal? You don't follow the Magisterium because you guys have that free knowledge thing or whatever. So I don't.
Well, understand. They do. I mean, they do follow the Magisterium. They're just not. They have a little bit more leeway, but they still believe in the idea of like heresy.
Yeah, see, I don't know.
Against the Magisterium.
It never came across like that. And then they were kind of background characters, I felt, in the movie. Like
the college or the
yeah,
magisterium?
the college.
Yeah.
They weren't really, they didn't really put too much on them, as they were just like, okay, this is a house. Like as soon
as
as
far as the magisterium goes, like they don't go into what they are at all.
in the book?
No, in the movie. They're just kind of this, bad guy organization, but there's no, they don't allude to theology at all. There's no, the word church is never mentioned. Adam and Eve is never discussed. Dust is never talked about. God is talked about in the theological sense. Like they were painstakingly clear to steer clear of theology in this movie.
Yeah, I understood that in there, but I didn't see them as they weren't the bad guy. I think that's all.
No, they were the bad guy, but they were just like they were just like a generic bad guy organization.
Yeah, and that's like probably how that's probably how they wanted to keep it. Yeah, like think of other like movies or where they have like large groups of of people. It's just they want power and they want to rule over things, right? Their way, and I think that's just what they were. That's all in the writing room. That's literally probably what they were going with.
Which is for me, like, it's just, why do you pick this book? Why are you going to pick this book to adapt when you're going to neuter half the story?
Because you bought
it. You just want it for, you just want it for the visuals. You just want the riding the polar bear and magic.
Well, no, because we established the time that it came out, around this craze of Harry Potter. The sales for this book, were they mainly towards children?
I have no idea.
Because I'd really like to know that. Because if that was
book.
if that was the deal, and it was like the major sales were like this was like a kid's book or an elementary school book or something like that, then I can see them snatching up on that.
Not really.
Not even looking at.
Well, it's also banned in some schools.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of school, then it's still it's still I'd have to see what would the demographic be of who bought this book, because if they're trying to I can't remember who I'm talking to, but whenever you're writing a book and you take it to a distributor or you take it to an editor or something like that, they have people that look at these books and like, oh, we're looking kind of for like a Twilight writing story right now. Do you get anything like that? And then they'll turn you away if you don't have that. If you have like, I don't know, The Good Tree or something like that, or The Giving Tree. So, okay, if they're looking for movies to capitalize on you going out and buying a wand and robe, or you going out and buying a polar bear and an alethiometer, then they're going to look at that book and like, it's got the elements. Let's give it to these people that never read the book and have them skim through the pages, write a script, throw some stars at it, and watch it, make millions, which is not the actual mixture to make millions. Like it.
Speaking of which, I want to know how much this movie made.
$3.52.
How much do you think it cost to make?
Let's see. With the CG, I'm going to say.
And in 2007.
2007, I will say 70 million.
180 million.
Ooh.
You were off by $110 million.
Yeesh, that's hefty. I was going to say 100 million at first, but then I was like, there wasn't a lot of CG, I guess. But then there was actually, because there was a variety of animals with everybody.
There's a ton of CG.
Yeah.
But you know what? Where they saved money though? They saved money on that alethiometer animation that was the same thing every time.
Yes.
And it was awful. I forgot they did that. I 100% forgot that that's how they did. If you guys haven't seen the movie, I'm assuming everybody listening to this has seen the movie. And if you haven't, you should watch it.
Pause, go watch it, and then come back.
But that she's looking at it, and then they do this magical dust sparkles that show her pictures, and it's like watching a movie. It's so fucking bad. It's so bad. Well, and she can do it right off the bat the first time she tries.
How, and they actually, did they really even say beyond the exposition in the beginning that no one else can read this? Like any other characters say that?
No, I don't think so. I think there's the exposition in the beginning that tells you no one can read it. And then when she asks if she can try, they kind of laugh at her a little bit.
Yeah, the Egyptians or whatever.
Yeah.
Huh.
But
there was no
this movie, by the way, made $372 million.
Oh, so it made its money then.
It did make its money.
Oh.
It was still garbage.
I wonder why it didn't get a sequel then. Because if it made its money,
it also only made $70 million domestically.
Yeah.
All of its stuff was international.
Interesting.
Do you know what it got, or what would you guess it got on Rotten Tomatoes?
On Rotten Tomatoes, probably 37%.
You're pretty close. 42.
42, yeah, it's deserved. Like that's the right.
I'd put it a little lower, but yeah.
That would you put it at 37%?
I'd probably put it closer to like 30.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe because major chunks of it is gone. Like every major chunks are important chunks of it is gone. Like the bear gone. Like you don't need any of that. But I mean, you got to give it extra points for the jaw ripping off.
It did do that.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah. Did they do that in the show? No, they did not.
I don't believe they did. But so they did keep in the jaw ripping off, but because they wanted to keep that rating, not a single drop of blood.
Well, see what you don't understand in the snow, Emma. Blood
like
actually, real fast. So that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Terrible.
I do like their casting of Bucktooth kids in that role. They've been consistent over different mediums.
Screams Roger.
Yeah, I knew it right off the bat. Boom, Roger. That's him. So yeah, I mean that was a good one. I like the actual. What did you think? I will take it a little to the design of it, the costume design, because in the show I kind of like the look of everything, like the characters' clothing and stuff like that. That was good. And in this one,
thought it was fine. Like. It's just kind of there. There's nothing special about it, I feel like. The only person who consistently looked like drew your eye is Mrs. Coulter, which I guess makes sense. That gold dress she's wearing in the beginning doesn't make any sense. That's
Why?
like a very... Because it's first of all, she doesn't fit the setting at all. They're in a college. Everybody's just sitting down to a regular dinner, and she walks in like this sparkly Swarovski golden dream of an evening gown. And you're like, what are you
I thought
for?
that's her character. Like, I'm special. I'm outside of because she kept saying it like she was like, I do what I want.
That's a very lazy way to do that. It's like, we really need to show that she's, fancy. So we're going to put her in an evening gown. And like, it's just it didn't make sense. It doesn't fit the scene at all. I mean, her clothes look nice, but the one thing that I did like about it is that once again, Lyra was never shown wearing pants, which fits, and which if they had continued to go into the next book makes sense.
I thought she was wearing pants in the beginning. Those weren't pants?
No, she's wearing a dress.
I thought they were like corduroy pants.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
But so they kept to that, which I guess is fine, but like there's just nothing special about the costume design.
Okay. All right.
I wonder who did it.
It was definitely better. Well, at least the Magisterium I felt was better clothed in the TV show. There was a lot of just like the giant M that made no sense to me. The branding everywhere. Like, we are the Magisterium. Like, we get it. You got a giant M on your chest.
The costume designer was Ruth Myers, and she also did the 1996 Emma movie, which was ugh.
I don't know what Emma is.
You wouldn't have seen it.
Wow. Okay. All right.
It's a Jane Austen novel, but they did a version of it with Gwyneth Paltrow in the 90s.
How many movies did they make of her books?
A lot.
Good Lord. Every time we talk, you keep saying, "Oh, that's a Jane Austen movie." Like, really?
Because we're
Ghostbusters 3. Really?
We're watching all the Jane Austen movies. That's why every time you ask us what we're watching, we're specifically watching Jane Austen movies.
But like, there's like too many of them. Whatever. Back to the Golden Compass. There's it's like 70 of those things.
Join us on our next podcast where Aaron's introduced to Jane Austen.
Oh my God. Side note, real quick. I didn't know Clueless, one of my favorite movies, was based off of one of her.
It's based off of Emma.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that, but that's one of my favorite movies.
Oh man. So we have zero. If you're listening to this, obviously you're aware. We have zero structure for how this is going. We're just kind of throwing shit at the wall.
That's fine.
Can we talk about the green fire?
So, okay, the green fire, the car mechanics, like the actual technology.
Moving photo.
Yeah, like, so you didn't like any of that?
It didn't make sense.
I just, like, I don't know, because I don't know what you imagined as a child with what they described in the book then.
They don't describe, so what we would call electricity, they call something different.
Yeah.
Naphtha or Bantha, or Bantha's a Star Wars thing.
Wow.
It read to me where I always imagined it looking a little older, like a period piece, but I think that is just something that I was reading wrong. But it definitely wasn't futuristic.
Because that's what I got from it. Like, this is kind
Very
of a futuristic. From the dirigible looking things that were in the sky, the cars that have the front wheel that's like a energy ball or something.
Hell, that was weird.
And so I was just like, okay, green fire. I mean, maybe that's
didn't make any sense. The moving photograph was very Harry Potter. And that photograph wasn't even right because it was just a picture of the dude, and they completely leave out the idea that dust affects adults and children differently, which makes sense when you realize they're not going to kill Roger.
Yes.
Because they're just not going to go at all into the fact that what he needed a child because dust affects children differently.
Yeah, he just said a big old thing of energy and money. That's what I need.
And we'll never get to see what they thought they were going to do.
They never explain who that guy is in the picture either.
Nope.
He's just waving. He's got his demon next to him, and you can see that from the city. Dust comes down, filters for some reason through the demon, then hits the person. Like, that's what that is. Okay.
Yeah. So a good portion of the beginning of the movie is exposition. And then about the time that we get to Lyra leaving Mrs. Coulter, it ramps up to 11 in terms of speed.
Really fast. Yeah, everything hits you really fast. So where it was like 4 episodes for us to watch all these things kind of go out, this was the next 20 minutes. Yes. And it was she
didn't even know Roger was missing when she left.
It was very quick.
Knew.
It was very, very quick. Like, she just said, I wanted to say bye. And she's like, well, you could write them. Then it's just,
which means it doesn't make any sense that when she finally got to Bolvangar, why was she looking for him?
Maybe because
why would she? Yeah, then no,
you're right. Yeah, because I can't.
Because the only person she would have known who's missing is Billy, and they decided that he was going to be the dead kid, so she already knew he was dead.
Wait, who was dead in the TV show?
In the TV show, it
wasn't Billy?
No, it wasn't Billy. It was somebody they knew. I can't remember.
I thought it was Billy.
Was it? I don't fucking know.
Because remember, there's the whole scene of him dying and the Ma Costa and the brother.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The brother that was absent in this movie.
Tony Costa doesn't exist in this movie.
Does he exist in the book?
Of course he does.
Then I don't understand why he doesn't exist in the movie. That makes no sense.
There's a lot of shit that doesn't exist in this movie.
We missed a scene of the sneak attack where Tony and that other guy sneak into Coulter's place and.
Yep.
Also,
which I don't think was in the book.
They don't really. I don't really think they get the. So like my theories about the show is that Mrs. Coulter is a witch because that monkey is always far away from her for some reason. The only person that I know that does that is the witches. Yeah. And this one, we don't get to see any of that. We didn't get to see how the monkey travels around inside the apartment through the little vents and stuff like that. He's just, out of her sight or whatever. But what we did see is how the monkey gets hit or hurt and she gets hit. Miss Coulter gets hurt or hit the same way.
Yeah, like she doesn't react to it, but you can see a mark on her face.
Exactly. We never saw that in the TV show, and that's what
which is dumb.
But it threw a whole bunch of my theories out of whack, and I wish they could have done more of that in the show. The monkey looks bad in both, by the way.
The monkey looks good in the show.
He looks terrible in both.
It's hard. I feel like the CGI department doesn't know what to do with the idea of golden fur, which is what he's described as having.
Then just do brown fur. Just do brown fur, guys.
But it's a very distinct color. Like they focus on it. Like it's not brown, it's not blonde. Like he has golden fur. And I think the art department doesn't really know what to do with that. And the show, I think, got really close while still trying to make it look real. This one looks fucking bizarre.
It looks
orange.
Really weird. Yeah,
it was
looks
really
weird.
Shiny and really orange.
Yeah, and I didn't like the way that looked at all. It was.
You know what? We skipped over the best actor in this whole movie.
Lee Scoresby's character,
Billy Costa, when he's getting choked out.
Man, hilarious. Okay, now that you're speaking of that scene, because that was the first time that they showed that weird camera, or like weird lighting on their faces.
Yeah,
like when Billy and Roger, I almost forgot his name. I was calling him George for some reason. When Billy and Roger were walking down that little alleyway, they have like a spotlight on their face. And they did that again with Lyra when she was running away. And I was like,
the camera's just in a ring light.
Yeah, like it's weird why they chose that. And then they went into that just over. You can hear the director saying, "Act like you're getting choked. Act like you're getting choked right now." And he just okay.
I love that that's the best take.
Yes. Yeah, out of all of them, they did it multiple times. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. And then they made it seem like a gigantic character actually was taking them as well. Like they put this big shadow over the kids, and it was like, well, if this is Mrs. Coulter, then how? What? Like that?
Jacked.
That doesn't make any sense. Okay.
She's jacked.
Because everything isn't bad in this movie. I'll say. One thing that I think you will agree with was the portrayal of the amount of witches that are in the... Because, like, in the show, there's one.
Yeah.
And they talk about a lot of them, or like hey, there's a bunch of them, but you don't see them. In this, there's like a full-blown army. But they don't seem as powerful as they did in the show.
Correct.
Because in the show, it took one to wipe out a full, like, regiment of people. Like she was the Flash.
And like the witches are a big part of that battle, and when you only have one, you gotta put all of the witches into that one.
But they could have done everybody. They could have hired some extras.
They could have. I don't know why they didn't.
Thrown some cloth on them and then said, "Hey, you're a witch now."
Well, and the fact that there's witches on both sides.
Oh yeah, see, I'm still waiting on that.
Witches fighting with Bolvanger.
See, I'm waiting on because I really, 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 really hope to see some of that in the next season because I want to see. I want to see the conflict. Do they show the conflict in the book?
No, you have to find out.
You're horrible. But that's one
we'll
of the...
Find out next year.
That's one... Are we? With all this crap going on? Jeez.
They already finished filming.
Yeah, I guess. But no, I liked it. I liked how they portrayed them in there. I can't remember if there was any like actual magic in the TV show. I don't think there was.
From, no, like, the witches. Was no like... waving of wands and I don't know. They fly and they fight really well.
Oh,
and they're super fast.
They didn't show their like twigs that they use, right? To fly?
I mean, she was holding it.
Was she?
Yeah.
I did not see it at all. I kept seeing her with
she was holding a giant stick.
I thought that was a bow.
I don't fucking know.
I think that was a bow because she used it to kill a bunch of people too.
I don't know. She was holding it all the time. I assumed it was her little whatever. And then wait a minute. So the reason the way that Lyra demonstrates using the alethiometer in the book and in the show is they show up at that city to find the witches, and the guy asks her to pull out which sprig is hers, and that's what Lyra does. In the movie, this fucking strange lady flies up to her and goes, "Hey, tell me which one of these dudes on the boat I had sex with."
Yes. That's what it is. And what if it showed her, because apparently when you look into the alethiometer in the movie, you get like a full cutscene.
Magical picture.
Yeah. What if it actually showed her more of
I don't know.
Of their relationship back in the day instead of, just a little kissing action, which
She's like, I saw a picture of you with some young guy I've never seen before.
And he was blowing you back out, apparently. So what was happening?
It points to the birds and then the bees. What does that mean?
And then what's this peach emoji? I don't know what that one's. In an eggplant? Were you guys
Oh my God.
vegetarians?
Can we make an alethiometer out of emojis?
Yes, we can. I did one already. Remember on Twitter, I did one. That was
Oh, that's right.
yeah. But no, that yeah,
Hilarious.
that there. I think it was because of speed it. They had to speed everything up. So hey, which one is he's my guy? And then no
What do
conversation,
they-
no conversation between those two, between the witch and Fadakorum.
Oh yeah, never touched on. Fadakorum had like 2 lines,
He had more because he.
and they were all in that scene where he tells us how to use the alethiometer. That's it. He had exposition.
But he also was there a little bit to give more exposition on the spy bugs.
He was.
So he's.
Wait, he was there for the exposition of Yorick Burnison.
So there you go. He's exposition king.
Exposition man.
Yeah, that's exactly what he. But you know what? In all honesty, a lot of characters felt that way.
Yeah.
Like nobody really felt like they were an actual. Well, not nobody, but a lot of the characters didn't feel like they were anything beyond just. I'm here to explain to you, the viewer, what everything else is. Right now, because
And we all needed the exposition on Yorick Burnison because none of us knew that story.
that was a part of the movie that kind
Oh
of
my
irritated me
God.
for real because his lines that they gave him did not sound like it was like if I met you.
It's not how people talk.
Yeah, if I met you for the first time, Emma, and you were like, "Hey, I'm from Iceland, and my mother left me there when I was a child," and I'm like, what? Why are you just going into your backstory? This is the first time I've ever met you.
Wait, but I'm also drinking
Yes, exactly. Like
a bucket of whiskey.
I don't understand why they treated that character. And then you have such a high level actor for that
Ian
role.
McKellen.
And you decide to make I wonder how much input the actors have on stuff like that though. Like
Why would they have any input?
I don't know. I just feel like if I'm reading that, like I got the role and I'm reading, I'm like, this kind of just doesn't sound natural. If we're making a movie, I want to make it I don't know. Maybe is this his first time?
He just walks into a booth, sits down, reads the lines they put in front of him, goes home, makes his $1 million.
No, because then he wouldn't be one of the best parts in those whack X-Men movies.
Oh, Ian McKellen's an amazing actor. I'm saying for this movie, that's all he had to do was just walk into a booth, read his lines, and go.
I don't know.
They didn't care. They did not care when they made this movie. It didn't matter what the dialogue sounded like. They didn't care that it made sense. They wanted the visuals. That's all that mattered.
Who was the director on this one?
Chris Weitz.
And he's directed...
Let me tell you as soon as this loads.
He
did. Oh, wait. What?
He did
he
Twilight.
wrote and directed.
He did Twilight Saga New Moon as well.
Oh, did he?
That's what it says.
You know who else did Twilight Saga New Moon? The composer on this.
Really?
Don't ask me why I remember that.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. There he is. Twilight Saga. That was his next movie after this.
Yeah.
He directed About a Boy, which is a very good movie. He directed American Pie, but it says uncredited.
Really? What? He wrote The Nutty Professor too. Interesting. The Clumps. All right.
He fucking wrote Rogue One, the best Star Wars movie.
Never seen it.
So this guy is capable, and he wrote About a Boy. He wrote the Cinderella movie. This man is capable of good writing.
About a Boy is before it though.
Yeah,
because you could see, or you could, make a case saying like these movies
he
helped
wrote
him.
Ants.
Ants.
This man can write. This man can write well. I don't understand what happened.
Oh no, I did see Ants. It's not A Bug's Life though. Yeah. It wasn't a Bug's
He's writing the live-action adaptation of Pinocchio.
Why do we need that?
I don't know. But he also wrote the best Disney live-action, so, let this man do his work.
Well, I mean, let him do his work.
Let him do his work.
Well, then don't let him direct, too. How about that?
I mean, he directed good shit, too. He directed About a Boy.
I've never seen About a Boy, so...
It's a very good Hugh Grant movie with Nicholas Hoult.
Is it about a boy?
It is about a boy.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I don't know. So then I can't, because if he's got a solid, resume.
I'm telling you, it all comes down to the fact that they just wanted a spectacle. They didn't care about. They wanted a spectacle. They wanted a little girl, and they wanted magic. That's all they cared. They hit all three boxes, and that's what they wanted.
And
because they added in a fight scene they didn't need, which is the Azrael one. They extended fight scenes that didn't have to be as long as they were, which was the one where Lyra gets taken. The final fight scene was longer than it needed to be.
Yeah, I feel like that they made that there, and now that I look back on it, it really did feel like that they made that the climactic, big fight for humanity type of situation. Which
you wouldn't be expecting because you think that there's another 4 episodes.
I literally thought we were halfway through it. I thought we were. I thought we were just like 20 minutes left in the movie when we were at that point, and I was like, okay, like that's cool. We're doing this, but I don't know. And now looking back on it, I can see why they put so much effort into that one, but I don't know.
So do you see why this is a very disappointing adaptation?
I can see why it's a disappointing adaptation for the reader, but for your average looker that doesn't know anything more than that, I can see why it's a mediocre. I can see why it's just a mediocre movie. Yeah. Like it's nothing special. It's something you can just. That's why you said it made $300 million. Yeah, that's a mediocre movie right there.
Yeah,
you made what, just a little over double than what you spent on it.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's what they usually shoot for, right? We need to make at least double what we spent on the stupid thing. So, and then I'm looking at the wiki, and they got nominated for a bunch of awards.
Ew, what for?
Let's see, Academy Awards. It won Best Visual Effects.
That makes sense.
And it got nominated for Best Art Direction. BAFTA, Saturn.
It was a pretty movie.
So,
like, especially for 2007, because there's a lot of scenes where you look at it and you're like, oh, green screen. But for 2007, it was a very pretty movie.
Yeah, so I think whoever, put it out there, they're like, fine. Like, yeah, we made what we needed to make off of it. Who cares about the rest of it? But they
clearly thought that they had the next big thing. That's why they compared it to Lord of the Rings. Like, they were planning a fucking franchise.
They definitely thought they were going to go 3 for this one or something like that.
Canceled sequels.
I just scrolled down to that too right now, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Subtle Knife, potentially from May 2010, with the 3rd book in the trilogy, Amber Spyglass to follow.
What's hard about this is if you wanted to make a kid's book, and I think I talked about this in the show as well. Like, there are certain things that you can leave out of the first book, and there's certain liberties that you can take that, like, they work in the first book. When you don't talk about the church, when you don't talk about theology, when you leave out certain characters, when you add certain characters, like, these things will work when you try to do them. By the time you get to the end, by the time you get to the last book, you can't do anything.
It's so blatant that it's just like you're writing a whole different story by then.
Exactly. Like, you can kind of get away with it, but if you leave out X, Y, and Z in the first book, what the fuck are you going to do when you get to the Amber Spyglass? I don't understand how they would have written anything. If they were trying so hard to keep theology out of it, you cannot make the 3rd book. You just can't.
Yeah, look, if you look at that last sentence for the canceled sequels, it pretty much sums up everything. Yeah. Like that's 100%.
So Sam Elliott stated the Catholic Church lambasted them, and I think it scared New Line off. 100%.
Yeah. He was correct in thinking that way. It's sad, because I don't think any art should be silenced like that. I feel like that's how with anything. But that company.
Even in controversies, several key themes of the novels, such as the rejection of religion and the abuse of power in a fictionalized version of the church, were diluted in the adaptation. That is a very nice way to say that.
Yeah, because diluted isn't what happened. It was just
it's just not
gone.
There.
Yeah, like diluted means there was a little bit in there, but no, it was just all out taken out. So. Yeah.
Damn, says, attempting to reassure fans of the novels, White said that religion would appear in euphemistic terms, yet the decision was criticized by some fans, anti-censorship groups, and the National Secular Society, of which Pullman is an honorary associate. Which said they're taking the heart out of it, losing the point of it, castrating it, and that this is a long-term problem over freedom of speech.
And that's
Man.
and I'm definitely
So
high on that.
they were fucked either way. It was like if they kept it in, they were gonna piss off the church people, and if they kept it out, they were gonna piss off the fans.
Yeah. Um.
So
So
pick one.
what would you have rather happen then? Maybe them put all that time and effort into an actual TV series that, or still try to go for a movie.
Oh, TV series is a much better option. Generally, these days, I will always take a TV series over a movie because your budget is going to be lower, but you have so much more room to tell the story. Like I mean, you can see what the difference was right here between telling this story in 8 hours versus telling it in 2 hours.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because that's why I've pulled back so much on my stance of I want a new X-Men movie as opposed to I just want a kind of an X-Men series, like on Disney Plus or something like that. Yeah, because I like the way that you can actually get into, especially if it's something was a novel like this is. You really cannot hit all those nuances and those key points in a movie because you have to rush like this thing was. So, yeah,
2 hours. I mean, if you look at the Lord of the Rings books and look at those movies, the extended version of Lord of the Rings, I believe the Return of the King is 3.5 hours long.
Ridiculous.
And it leaves out so much.
I've never seen
so
that.
much of that you don't get without reading the book, but it's 3.5 hours and it's really fucking good. You haven't watched the extended editions, have you?
I have not, no.
I know you haven't.
I've only watched the regular ones. They're good movies.
When I was in college, the movie theater that I lived near did a showing of all 3 extended editions back to back to back.
Insanity.
We got there at 7 a.m. and left at, middle of the night.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a really good day. But yeah, so when you just cannot, movies are very hard to do books well in, or books that have, like The Golden Compass or like Lord of the Rings, or these big epics that they want movies that are like this. There's so much that goes into that. You lose entire sections of the plot trying to dumb it down to 2 hours. You lose sections of the plot, you lose entire characters, you lose entire races. You didn't know anything about the Egyptians other than the fact that they're called Egyptians for some reason.
And they live in the ocean.
Apparently, according to this movie. You didn't learn anything about the bears. You don't know who the Samoyeds or the Tartars are, except for the fact that they exist.
And
which, to be fair, the TV show did the same thing.
And they're the ethnic people in this.
And they're the ethnic people, yes.
That's the other thing I pulled. I was like, okay, the indigenous people are the bad guys. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And, it's just, it's really hard to do movies like this.
So then, for the future, because I'm pretty sure they will take other works of your childhood.
They will.
So
you know what I've been thinking about this whole time because you brought it up in the beginning? Give me an Aragon TV show.
Well, first of all, a TV show. All right, let's calm down.
Give me an Aragon TV show because that book that movie is, I have no problem, I believe, saying is the worst book to movie adaptation I've ever seen.
Never seen it.
It's garbage. It's so bad.
And the
books are so good.
Is it just because of like the CG, or is it the same thing here where they change the story a lot?
Really, like the writing is really bad. The CG is fine because it's like a big dragon thing, so they had to put a lot of money into it. But as far as I remember, at least, the CG is fine. But like the writing is bad, and they did the exact same thing that this movie did, where they took a giant plot point from the end of the book and left it out. And when they leave that out, they cannot do the next one.
Again, in this one, they can do the next one. They just have to start with killing a child. That's all they have to do.
Just like title sequence, the subtle knife. Yeah. Roger's dead.
Boom! Right off the bat, we go right into it. That's what I'm telling you.
The subtle knife.
Just do it. The subtle knife. Is that what it's called?
That book is how I learned how to say the word subtle, because my mom asked me what I was reading, and I very proudly told her I was reading The Subtle Knife, and she laughed in my face.
As one parent should.
So hard. I remember it to this day.
As a parent should at that time, yes. She did the right thing.
That's how I know how to say subtle. She did the same thing when I was reading Harry Potter, and I came across the word Beauxbatons.
But is that a word?
Beaux. How the fuck am I supposed to know that says bow?
That's very true. It's French, so
She just laughed in my face. She said, "What did you say?" I said, "It's Buxabottens."
yeah. And actually, now it is. From now on, it's Buxabottens.
I said, "It's Buxabottens, and I'm 9."
That actually sounds like something from Harry Potter. Buxabottens. Sounds like a toy shop or something. I will, if I had to rate this, because I'm looking at the ratings on the bottom of this movie, and of course they're, we already discussed that they gave it a 42 or whatever. And then what is the average score on whatever this is? The average score was 5.61 out of 10. Without the bite of controversy of this score, of the source material, the Golden Compass is reduced to an impressive visual, overcompensating for lax storytelling. Ooh.
Exactly what we just spent the last hour saying that somebody just summed up into one sentence.
Yeah, they did. And I would probably give it a 5, most likely. I mean, it's an average movie. It's nothing I would remember years on, to tell you the honest truth.
Imagine going into this and all you know about it is that New Line thinks it's the next Lord of the Rings.
See, I never even saw a trailer for it. It only came on my radar from what we're going to do next is playing the video game and seeing people.
God, I don't even want to know.
I just saw people come in and take it back. Like, that was it. And then eventually it hit our bargain bin it was like the dollar, bin, and it just sat there. And I was like, okay. And I guess nobody likes the Golden Compass.
What? It's going to be a bad game of telephone because this isn't a game based off the book. It's a game based off the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I wonder who you play as. Are you Lyra?
Oh, God.
You
gotta be Lyra.
What?
Do you think one of us can be Lyra and one of us can be Yorick?
If it is a co-op game, I'm already giving it 5 points right off the back right there out of 10.
Oh, man.
Like, if they went that far, yeah, then I got you. Like, there's no other way.
But it's got to just be the fight scenes.
What are the fights? Seems like there's like 3.
And I wonder if there's like a puzzle mechanic for reading the alethiometer.
See, now what you're doing is you're thinking too much into a game that is not going to be that. You're creating a game that is not going to be that.
Oh, no.
You're not going to get anything after that. Oh, wait a minute. What is this? Oh, never mind. This is different movies from something else. I was going to say, they're talking about different shows after that. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited to look forward.
This just makes me want season 2 of His Dark Materials.
Well, any news, words, or anything on that?
Nope.
Because
the last thing we heard was that we were expecting season 2 this year, but who knows what's going to happen?
Well, I mean, if you said it's shot, it's done, then all they have to do, like the only thing I could think they would do is editing, and you don't have to really be close to each other.
A shit ton of time. Well, the problem is, and I didn't think about this until we started talking about games getting delayed, is that if the editors are all having to work from home, they can't just take all of these files home.
True, yeah.
You have to be in the office. So...
Well, see, now after all this, there's gonna be different ways people work. I know for sure, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, true. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know their time schedule or like where they're at in the timeline of completion of this game or this movie or this show, whatever it is.
Season 2 in September last year.
Okay, so then, oh wow,
so it's been
that's
done
not
for
that.
What, 7 months?
Yeah, but then you got to think about CG editing, and know as much, as because you've read the books and stuff, how much they would need CG in this next one. Like, I don't know. As far as I know, they're in the real world and they don't need that much CG because they're with Will. And, what CG do they need?
Who knows?
You know.
I know. But
Terrible.
You don't.
Still upset
that
there was no Will.
The last thing that was confirmed was that it was coming out in 2020, but that doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Well, yeah. So
2020 is over. You know what? We're going to get to New Year's and we're going to drop the ball and it's going to be 2020 again. We're just going to take a whole mulligan on this year.
Yeah, you try to convince that to businesses.
Nobody is going to get a year older. When your birthday comes, you're still going to be the same age.
Wow. That's terrible.
My sister's real upset because she just turned 29 and she's like, this was supposed to be my last year of my 20s.
Does she expect something to change when she hits 30?
Yeah.
Nothing does.
She does. Everything changes. She's old.
No. What? Okay.
You're old.
No, yeah.
You're all old.
Yeah. That's what I told my doctor, and she laughed at me. And I was like, well, all right. Society said I was, all right? And you're society, old. Emma. That's what's the problem. You're the problem. Yes, I am.
You're old.
So anyway, you're wrapping it? Are we done? We've gone an hour or so.
Yeah, I guess we talked. The only thing we didn't talk about was, fucking everything.
Yeah. So what's next?
What we touched on the Bears, and what's our next? Well, I mean, I guess we'll do the game whenever we're allowed in the same room again.
In the next 8 years, is that
someday?
Okay.
Someday.
Right. Well, take us out.
Look, time is a fucking construct. Nothing means anything anymore. I don't know what day it is.
Wow, it's not that serious. We're fine. It's just a little quarantine. Everybody, we're fine.
You go to work every day, so you know what day it is. I have no idea what's happening when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, I gotta save lives, Emma. My job is essential.
Oh, okay.
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 All right.
Yeah.
My job is essential. So
is it?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Proud of you.
For the little kids, so the gobblers don't get them. Okay.
Okay.
I save people from the gobblers. Thank you.
Let's let people think that. Let's let the viewers think that. I'm gonna deliver a keyboard.
Wow.
But you can't because none of the people are there.
And laptops.
Yes.
Take us out, woman.
I don't know. So we'll see you guys whenever the fuck we see you. Who knows when that's gonna be? Hope you're doing all right in isolation and quarantine. Stay home, stay safe. Cover your mouth when you cough, and wash your goddamn hands.
You'll lose your jaw like like a bear. All right.
And don't cut a hole in the middle of your mask so it's easier to breathe.
But it is easier to breathe.
Goodbye, everybody.